This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. School fees are not mandatory, said Williams. Minister of Education Favour Williams is reminding school administrators that under the ministry's non-mandatory fee policy for infant, primary, and secondary educational institutions, no child should be denied the right to an education if payments are not made. We are reiterating that while stakeholders may, if they choose, make voluntary contributions to support their children's education, schools should not force parents to pay fees for services that the ministry has already provided and has committed to providing, said Williams in a statement today. She noted that requests for a contribution from parents cannot be mandatory and must not be a requirement for registration, school access and attendance, access to online learning programs, or criteria for graduation, examination slips, application to sixth form, or access to any public service at a public educational institution. Registration packages for students should be no more than $5,000 for this academic year and should outline what the package entails to justify the need for the fees. Items that attract a cost such as IDs, insurance, PE uniforms, school ties, etc. should not be included in the registration package. These should be itemized for purchase separately, said the Education Minister. She revealed that the ministry has already outlined to schools the schedule through which they will receive funds from the government, and where there is a need for additional funds, this should be requested of the ministry by the school board with supporting documentation and not from parents. In emphasizing the government's commitment to free access to education, she affirmed that no school is to charge parents to access the learning management system and to access textbooks. The cost to access the LMS and all books provided on the book loan scheme have been paid for by the ministry. 17-year-old dies after breaking neck and contracting COVID-19. The community of Grange Hill, Westmoreland, and Manning's School are in mourning following news of the passing of 17-year-old student Kavian Richards on the weekend. In a social media post, Kavian's mom, Chanel Wallace, said her son had broken his neck in a river tragedy in Grange Hill. The distraught mom said Kavian suffered damage to his spinal cord. He was admitted to the hospital for several days and underwent surgery. But the teenager, who was later diagnosed with the coronavirus, developed pneumonia and had challenges breathing. He died at the Savannah Lamar Hospital on the weekend. His death has left a void within his household and the school community. Kavian graduated just a week ago via Zoom platform and was also voted among the top 11th graders at Manning's. One student, who was reportedly the best friend of Kavian, told the news that the 17-year-old was a very jovial individual who always made people laugh. Gang violence behind the farmer's death, says Clarendon cops. Police in the parish are theorizing that gang violence is at the heart of the shooting which left a farmer dead on Sunday. Dead is 47-year-old O'Neill Hunter McLean, who lived in New Harbour Village, Phase 3 in St. Catherine. Detectives are currently pursuing one person of interest whom they say may be able to assist them with the case. According to police reports, McLean and a friend were in Content, Yorktown, tending to his animals when two armed men fatally shot him. His friend, who is a licensed firearm holder, challenged the men and they fled. His friend was not injured during the attack. McLean, who was originally from Clarendon, served time overseas on narcotics-related charges before returning to Jamaica, the police said. After run-ins with the gang members, he moved to St. Catherine but returned periodically to tend to his cattle. Meanwhile, the Clarendon police are trying to establish a motive for Sunday's killing of 18-year-old Jermaine Simpson in Buckner. According to police report, Simpson had just returned home from a party in the community and was in the process of securing his motorbike when he was shot multiple times to the upper body. He was taken to the Maypen Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Trelawney man allegedly chops another in dispute. 23-year-old Michael Robinson, otherwise called the Burger of Friendship District in Wakefield, Trelawney, was charged with wounding with intent after he allegedly chopped a man on his hand on Tuesday, July 27. The police said Robinson and the man had a dispute in his community during which he used a machete to chop the complainant on his right hand. The police were alerted and the man was taken to the hospital where he was admitted in stable condition. The incident happened about 12:15 p.m. Robinson later turned himself into the police where he subsequently was charged for the offense. Man charged with breaches of Firearms Act. A man has been arrested and charged with breaches of the Firearms Act after he allegedly fired several shots in the air while driving through a community in Limetree Wait-A-Bit in Trelawney on Saturday, June 26. He is 35-year-old Nicholas Smith, otherwise called Ted or Hot Tool, of Mendestown in the parish. Smith is charged with the offenses of discharging a firearm within 40 yards of a public thoroughfare and illegal possession of firearm. The police said Smith drove to a bar in the community to retrieve a cellular phone that he had left there about 11 p.m. and after receiving the cellular phone, he went into his motor vehicle, retrieved a firearm and fired a shot in the air. The police said he then drove off and continued firing several shots in the air. The police were alerted and the scene was processed. Investigations commenced into the incident, and on Tuesday, July 27, Smith was arrested in the parish of St. Elizabeth and was subsequently charged with the offenses. More than 40 Jamaicans at Caribbean Airlines lost their jobs. More than 40 Jamaicans have lost their jobs at Caribbean Airlines as the cash-strapped regional carrier continues its reconstructing exercise. This follows the news last week that the airline had laid off 280 workers. Rudolph Thomas, vice president of the Bustamante Industrial Trade Union, told the news that the Jamaican workers were served notices on Friday. The news understands that the Jamaican government, which has a 16% stake in the airline, was notified of the redundancy exercise before the employees were served notices. During the first quarter of this year, Caribbean Airlines suffered a loss of Trinidadian $172.7 million and a 75% decline in revenue due mainly to the COVID-19 pandemic. Portland man charged with murder and arson in death of farmer. A man has been charged with murder and arson in connection to the killing of a Portland woman at her farm on Thursday, July 22. Charged with murder and arson is 65-year-old Jasper Jamison, otherwise called Soji, a farmer of Hopefield District, Portland. Reports are that about 9:30 a.m., residents called the police after seeing fire coming from a farm in the community. On arrival of the police, a hut was seen ablaze. The fire department was contacted, and during cooling down operations, the charred remains of 59-year-old Cynthia Hines, a farmer of St. Margaret's Bay in the parish, was found. Detectives launched an immediate probe, and Jamison was arrested the same day. Commanding officer for the parish, Deputy Superintendent Troyville Horton, commented, "We are confident about the standard and quality of the investigations, and we are pleased with the progress made so far. Much appreciation must be expressed to all the citizens who supported the process. They continue to assist the police in putting deviant persons away. We ask that Portlanders continue to support us, and once more we commit to providing professional and quality service to all the communities we serve." Jamison's court date is being finalized. 4 Haitians land illegally in Portland. 4 Haitians landed illegally at the Spring Garden Shore in Buff Bay, Portland on Tuesday morning. They arrived on a boat shortly before 5 o'clock. The Haitians, who are said to be between 26 and 63 years old, will be examined by health officials. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.